when you start to get into the nuts and bolts of like what it costs to administer a structure like that, and that's what ate us alive, ended up kind of collapsing the whole thing. We joked, we called it the pancake house strategy. We brought in a partner who's a good friend of mine to this day, and he was like, Lyle, we don't do lunches, we don't do dinners, we do breakfast because that's cheap. And I was like, yes. So if I tell you that we probably raised $2 million at you name the pancake house in Maryland or DC or the diner, I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm dead serious. We were signing subscription documents in the pancake house. And, I think that was a big part of it, but we really struggled. I think we had identified a pipeline of assets, but even as we were getting started and we didn't have a track record, to get people to commit to the pool of the REIT was really, really tough.
Right.
And we ended up pivoting away from that in the bigger deals we did later on, which I mentioned, the $20 million deal where we had an institutional investor. I think, and to this day, this is how I operate. Like you want to get an anchor if you can on something that big, but you're still going to cobble together a couple $1 million from LPs. And, it's been a lot easier to just get LPs involved on a specific deal level basis.
Right.
If you had asked me 5-6 years ago, Lyle, what do you guys want to do? I think I probably, like an idiot, told a few people at like a happy hour, like, we're going to build Blackstone. Like, I want to fund.
Of course.
And that sounds so sexy and so cool. But then when you start to get into the nuts and bolts of like what it costs to administer a structure like that, and that's what ate us alive. I mean, our accounting and legal fees on the REIT ended up kind of collapsing the whole thing. It just wasn't worth it. At $20 million, which we thought was a lot, that was a laughable size to try and justify having a structure like that. And I think a lot of people, unless you really kind of get into the weeds on that, you overestimate, like, while it sounds sexy, it's wildly, like, the red tape and the cost of administering it made no sense. No sense. And I still feel that way today. I mean, if you're going to go raise a fund, I hope it's $100 million.
Right.
If not, just go do deal by deal.
Right.
And go meet people who like that deal.
Right. I think it's attractive to like use those names and terms and stuff like that. But then when you really understand who's playing in that game successfully, they have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. They're not playing in the smaller millions space.
Totally. And then as you think about, this is a long-winded answer to your original question. As you're going to raise money for a deal, and you might need something. Like, for example, if you're going to go buy a deal that needs a loan and it's going to have recourse, like personal liability, you're going to probably need someone to sign that with you. And then it's like, well, how do you get someone to do that? That's a different conversation. It's like, if you think about breaking these two categories down, raising LP money, limited partner money, and $50,000 slugs actually starts to become incredibly easy. What's really hard is getting someone to be like a co-general partner or sign a recourse note. And without that person, there's no deal. And doing deal by deal allows you to be flexible on what you might offer someone. And this could look like sharing a part of your profits. This could look like incorporating like a fee for them. It could look like both. And I've done it both ways. And I think that's kind of how we now structure our deals, is you kind of need to go get your balance sheet part of the equation solved first before you even talk to LPs, because you need to go find that person and say, hey, what do you need? Like, if you're my trusted person and I don't really want to go find a new one, what makes sense to you right now? Do you need this? Do you need that? What economics do you want? And if they tell you, hey, I need this % of the profit, and I look at it and say, if I'm gonna have to give up that much, this isn't worth it. I mean, unfortunately, that could be the difference of saying, hey, we're just not gonna do this project right now. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to kind of, because, there's two sides to that financing, right? And like, that unfortunately is the harder one, is to get someone who's got a balance sheet and liquidity and is willing to sign that loan with you.
Right. That makes
and
sense.
Potentially convince their wife to sign the loan.